Welcome back. The $100 XRP. Is it possible? We're going to be discussing that in today's video. We're going to kind of go through, is it possible to hit these numbers? We're currently at a $2.72 price when I'm recording this in the beginning of 2025. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video we upload quite often right here on the channel. So we're going to kind of break down the $100 price. There's been a lot of discussion about it. Is this possible? We're going to talk about some of the use cases for Ripple and really understand like the math behind it, because at the end of the day, as an investor, we got to really understand, is this mathematically possible? And if yes, how do we get there? In what length of time? Is this a good investment now or should I wait? And all those other questions for you to ask while you're making your investment portfolio decisions. Now, Ripple, the company behind XRP, is a very large kind of cross-border payment. That's kind of where they lie, cross-border payment transacting service. And essentially, from what I've gathered over the years from Ripple, is that they want to kind of become the back-end integration, as banks obviously have very antiquated systems to move money from one place to another, from one bank to another, one country to another, and there's fees involved there. What Ripple has tried to do is go into areas of the world outside the US bubble, everyone, where they didn't have any type. I mean, guys, there's people in this world that literally are unbanked. I think it's like 3 billion people are unbanked, and this was why I got so excited about a lot of these different altcoins during the 2020 cycle, because they were all talking about banking the unbanked and giving access to these financial services. And really, when we look at the back end of which companies have actually been doing this, Ripple is definitely one of those that have. Now, as an investor, when the SEC sued Ripple back in 2019, I thought it was too risky right before a Bitcoin halving cycle to be in that coin. And so I kind of dumped a large portion of what I was holding in XRP, which wasn't that large to begin with. But again, back in 2019, the price of XRP was 20 cents and below. And really, the multi-cycle low, if you were holding in 2017 or 2018, you can see that the price was under 1 penny. Right. So already, if you were under 1 penny, let's just say a penny, to $2.72, you 272x your investment. And I for sure believe that this has occurred, because one of the things about the XRP community and XRP holders is, no matter what, I mean, there were people they kept their entire portfolio in XRP during the previous cycle while they were dealing with the SEC lawsuit. And essentially, you can see here from the moves in the market, while XRP did experience a little bit of a run up in 2021, it came right back down, and it did not perform. I should say, it did not outperform most of the rest of the market. And so, why was that? I believe a lot of that had to do with the SEC continuing to go after Ripple and the XRP coin not reaching where it could potentially have grown to, from a usage perspective, from a company integration perspective, from an investor perspective. I mean, all of the metrics probably would have gone up if it wasn't for the SEC, and therefore there was price suppression. So a lot of what we've seen here at the beginning of end of 2024 or into early 2025, I believe, is what's known now as the Trump pump, right? I believe that a lot of this was kind of the belief and knowledge that if the administration changed after the election, the SEC would probably back off of Ripple. Even though Ripple kind of won the lawsuit, the SEC was still going after them, and again, continuing to suppress the price, right? Whether directly or indirectly, that's what was going on, right? And so once there was the belief that the SEC would be under different leadership and probably give more guidance to the crypto ecosystem, and also kind of stop the attack on the crypto ecosystem, including Ripple, look at what happened. The price immediately corrected, right? Nothing else happened. It's not like Ripple changed the world and came out with a new technology. Nothing happened except for that one thing, which was the election. And so that, to me, this shows that XRP probably should have been this price after the last cycle, but it wasn't, because it was being suppressed. I mean, this is essentially where the last cycle peaked at. this $2 range, and now we're a little bit over the $2 range. But there's a little bit of volatility, obviously, maybe some profit taking and the like. But guys, I mean, that is essentially what happened. We should This is the new kind of baseline for XRP compared to the rest of the where the crypto market is. And this is where it probably should have been. And that's what that correction is. So I don't even think that we've seen the move to the upside in 2024, 2025 for XRP. Like from a liquidity standpoint and the whole market is pumping. I think this was just a corrective pump of the price to where it should have been. That's kind of my view on that. Now, whether we can hit, okay, $100 Ripple, let's kind of understand a little bit more about some of the customers of XRP and Ripple. Now, you can see here, these are lists of all their customers, or they've had case studies with many different companies. They wrote on their website, Ripple, that they have 100 partners. Tranglo has gained through Ripple's global network $25 million of money saved by SendBee customers on FX or foreign exchange conversion and transaction fees. The amount of time it takes to make a payment on modular is under 10 seconds, and savings from domestic transfer rates for NIUM customers was 98%. So you can see that they definitely have customers. A lot of these companies we probably never heard of. And this, like for instance, Neum is forging new partnerships to open doors in Southeast Asia, right? So outside the US bubble. This is Tranglo partners with Ripple to provide integrated cross-border payment solution to global businesses. And they have 5,500 payout partners that they're using. Ripple uses modular to deliver seamless payments across the UK and Europe. And Ripple helps SendBee provide faster, cheaper, and convenient remittances for migrant workers in Korea. Now, these are the larger kind of demographics in terms of where in the world, or I should say geographics. But they're also in much smaller markets, Ripple. And I believe that they're in those smaller markets and not necessarily posting them on the site because they're so small. But if Ripple's there from the beginning and integrating with what the financial world they're building, this is huge for the future of Ripple and potentially the XRP coin. But it's important to differentiate Ripple from XRP, especially when you're talking about price perspective, because not all the customers of Ripple use XRP previously. Now, maybe they're going to be moving, and Brad Garlinghouse has alluded to this previously, that in the future they may flip a switch and everybody who's using RippleNet will now be also using XRP in the back end. But currently, from my understanding, there's no need to use XRP. You can just use RippleNet without using the XRP coin. But now we're talking about what else Ripple is doing now, right? Ripple USD stablecoin, the RLUSD stablecoin, is going to be their first stablecoin regulated in the United States, bit licensed in New York. That's huge for Ripple, huge for the stablecoin. And I believe that we're going to see rapid implementation of this, especially as the regulatory environment becomes more clear, right? It's not going away. There's a lot of people who think like, oh, there's going to be no regulation. No, there's going to be regulations, but there's going to be clarity. Where if the companies say, hey, can we do this, or how do we implement a stable coin, there will be clear rules instead of, well, talk to us about how you think you're going to do this for 2 years, and then we're going to sue you anyway. That's what the SEC was doing within the crypto ecosystem. Ripple USD is now available on the following exchanges, so you can already access their stablecoin, which is huge. And the stablecoin, from my understanding, is going to be utilizing the XRP kind of coin in the back end. It says, issued on XRP Ledger and Ethereum, Ripple USD opens the door to multiple ecosystems. So that's interesting that they've released it on Ethereum as well. I don't know whether it was released as a smart contract or whatever. Again, this is more of a deep dive that we can do in the future, but if you guys want, let me know down below. You can also see there's other Ripple use cases. Amazon Web Service Partner Profile. Now, this is from a few years back, but you can see here that the RippleNet members, Ripple collaborates with financial institutions worldwide. More than 100 financial institutions have joined RippleNet, including Santander, Canada Imperial Bank, Kotak Bank, and then you can read the rest of them. I'm not going to read through all of them. But yeah, these are banks around the world that either tested or are actively using Ripple and RippleNet. And therefore, are they using XRP as well? So understanding the fundamentals of how we get to that $100 price is important, but it's also important to understand the math And that's kind of where we're going to look, what we're going to look at now. Now, I saw this on the XRP Reddit. It says why XRP could hit $100 and why market cap doesn't matter for utility coins. Okay, first of all, the market cap does matter. And anybody who tells you different, I don't know what to tell you. I think they're incorrect. And maybe I'm incorrect, but I think they're incorrect. I don't think that there's any possibility that you can take away the fundamental that we're already at $157 billion for XRP, and XRP is not doing nearly as much as um, as Ethereum or as Bitcoin from a transactional standpoint, from a usage standpoint, from an integration standpoint, from a technological integration in other systems standpoint. Just not there. And maybe that's not what they're going for, right? I did a separate video on Internet Computer, and I'm like, Internet Computer, like they're not really focusing on smart contracts. They have that capability, but they're not focusing on financial transact. They're looking at compute and AI and how that can be integrated. And obviously, there's going to be some finance there, but their thing is like Ripple's thing is cross-border payments, making transactions more seamless. And because they've been doing this for so long, and they have already so many tests, they have so many integrations, and so many key corridors around the world that they're already in, they do have a leg up. This doesn't mean that other cryptos can't do the same thing that they can do, that Ripple is doing with XRP and RippleNet. They obviously any other project can do this, but no other project is doing it, right? That's the big difference. But this post says too long didn't read is XRP could hit $100 because it utilizes its utility drives demand, and the market cap is relevant for utility coins. As adoption grows and XRP becomes integral to global finance, the price will reflect its role, not its supply. Market cap is just a number. It doesn't define the true value of a utility token like XRP. Now, this is wrong for many different reasons, right? Number one, the more usage that you get in an individual coin, the less volatility you're going to see. The reason we see so much volatility in like low market cap coins that you've never heard of, like for instance, Peanut the Squirrel or Haktua coin, is because there's no liquidity. So when people go in, when they're like, oh, we got this new coin, everybody's, even if it's 30 people, go in and buy $1,000 each. You just went from zero volume to, what is that? 30 people, $1,000 each, $30,000 in volume. And then the price shoots up, right? Because there's no liquidity except for the original holders of it. And this is why there's major moves. The more people that use the coin and the more widely dispersed it's used, the less volatility you're going to see. The other thing to keep in mind is big institutions, they don't want the volatility, right? That's probably why we've seen Ripple move to a stable coin, because the stable coin is going to be deployed on the Ripple ledger, the XRP ledger. So it's going to use the XRP blockchain or ledger, whatever you want to call it. And that is going to drive usage and value in the ecosystem. And maybe the XRP price will go up because of that. But they're not using XRP, they're using the stable coin because they need to have stability when they're transacting, especially with cross-border payments, right? If I go to pay you for something and you're in a different, across the world in a different currency, if I go to pay you and the price changes by, 100% within 5 minutes, it's not going to work. Nobody's going to use it. And so there is some truth to this. Like they're not going to be using XRP. They're going to be using the stable coin on top of it to drive stability. So is the price of the crypto going to go up? Well, I don't think so because people are going to be buying the stable coin, not XRP. Now, you need the XRP to transact. So there will be some movement in the XRP ecosystem of the coin from that stable coin usage, but it's going to be so minimal. It's going to be like fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent that you're not even going to see it as a holder. Now, times that by multiple millions of transactions per second or per day or per week or whatever it is, and scale and scale and scale. Granted, that fraction of a fraction of a fraction will become more as time goes on and more usage comes out. But you're not going to see like, oh, people are using the stable coin now. The price goes from $2 to $100 overnight. Because again, you need the liquidity there. We're seeing as Bitcoin hits $100,000, it's much harder, even with literally billions of dollars of Bitcoin purchases from MicroStrategy and other companies and the ETFs, billions of dollars transacting a week. and the price still can't get above $100,000. And that again, because as the network usage becomes larger, the volatility decreases. So XRP, can it hit $100, right? I mean, they're saying no. I mean, they're saying yes, no matter what, because it doesn't matter. It's a utility coin, yada, yada, yada. Let's do the math on this, okay? Like just the math alone. There's 100 billion XRP in existence. Now, this, by the way, a lot of people don't realize either. And I try to talk about this on my videos, but it is important to understand that there are still a large quantity of XRP coins. I have it up on the screen right now. Currently, when I'm recording this, about 37 billion coins are in escrow. It's about 37% of the entire supply. And essentially, every single month or quarter, we'll go into this in a minute. Ripple unlocks coins, right? The ledger takes these coins out of escrow and gives Ripple access to these coins to sell on the market, to then go, build their team, build new products, develop the blockchain, pay their legal fees and all of that. And whatever they don't use, they can put back into escrow to go into into the pool until it runs out. Now, keep in mind, Ripple did this in, I believe, 2017. Here's an explanation of Ripple's escrow. It says to provide additional predictability in the XRP supply, Ripple locked 55 billion XRP, or 55% of the total supply, in a series of escrows. These escrows are on the ledger itself, and the ledger mechanics enforced by consensus control the release of the XRP. The escrow consists of independent on-ledger escrows that release a total of 1 billion XRP each month over the 55 months following. That provides an upper limit to the amount of new XRP that can be brought into circulation, right? Essentially inflation. The amount of XRP actually released into circulation will likely be much less because, again, Ripple doesn't have to spend all that money. The additional XRP left over each month will be placed into a new escrow to release in the first month in which no escrow currently releases, meaning after the 55 months. During the process of moving Ripple's XRP into escrow, they also changed their account security model. The XRP ledger supports a new native multi-sign scheme, and Ripple secured the accounts the escrows release into that scheme. So it's more secure. So essentially, they're getting 1 billion coins every single month, and they can spend it if they want. And they have been. They have been. They have been selling, and they sell the coins onto the market. And so one of my concerns is that while, yes, we may get an XRP ETF, and there may be institutions that start investing in XRP, who are they going to be buying the XRP from? Holders hope that it's coming from the circulating supply, because if you buy from the circulating supply and the demand goes up for it and the supply stays the same, then the price would, based on the laws of supply and demand, would go up. The price would go up. But if they're buying it from Ripple themselves, from their escrow, this is actually net negative to the price of XRP. And this could also be part of the reason XRP was suppressed over the last 4 years. SEC lawsuit, as well as Ripple selling the XRP from escrow to pay for the lawsuit. I mean, I think Brad Garlinghouse said it was about $273 million or something like that to pay for all the legal fees against the SEC. I mean, that's a lot of money. And so this is important to understand as well. Okay. So granted, currently in circulation, there's only about, well, this says 62 million and coin market cap says 57 billion. 62 billion versus 57 billion. It's not that big of a difference, but I'm going to go with this because this is on the XRP scan website, and this is coming straight from the ledger itself. So we'll just go with this number, 62 billion coins. So if we just use the circulating supply and don't anticipate any future sales from XRP escrow, let's just do the math on this. 62,535,066,782, and we multiply that by $100. That would be $6.2 trillion dollars. And so is that possible that we're going to see XRP hit $6.2 trillion when we haven't even seen Bitcoin hit $3 trillion? I don't know. I mean, that's really for you to make the determination for yourself. But really what you want to look at when you're trying to figure out these numbers and see if they're accurate and what to do is you really want to look at the total supply. Because as a holder of the coin, if you know there's 37 billion coins that could still be sold every single 1 billion every single month, whether Ripple does it or not, it's that overhang of that risk that they can. And that if you're holding and they still have 37 billion coins in escrow, that means 37 months at a minimum, you're going to continue to have sell pressure. 37 months, 1 billion coins. And if they do half of that, you have to double that, right? So if they do only half a billion coins, let's say they sell every single month, that's going to be 70 months. Is that worth the risk? That's really for you to determine, right? I mean, when I look at it, I would say probably not, because there's other coins that are not going to have that sell pressure. Like, for instance, Ethereum. Ethereum is at the maximum supply. Now, granted, they still emit new coins every single block. So they are technically inflating, but they also have a burn mechanism to offset that inflation. If you think about Bitcoin, while Bitcoin is still inflating, it's inflating at a much slower rate. And you would have to imagine that the burn rate or natural burn rate, people just losing their coins in Bitcoin, is going to also accelerate, and it's probably going to offset some of that inflation. So essentially, the supply is limited or deflationary. Ethereum is level, hopefully in the future, completely deflationary. And XRP is going to be inflationary no matter what, because they're going to continue to put these 37 billion coins in. But again, it matters at what pace they do it. I believe that Ripple is not going to throw all the coins in the market. That would be stupid of them, because then the coins will drop. I think they're only going to take out the money that they need to continue to run the Ripple business and continue to grow and develop. And it is good to have some funds set aside for kind of building and growing. But having, as investors, having that over your head, like that they're potentially going to dump if they need the money, that could cause some issues, right? But let's just take the maximum supply. Okay, 100 billion coins. This is 100 million. That's 100 billion coins. And we times that by $100. That means Ripple XRP, the XRP coin, would have a $10 trillion market cap. $1 trillion. $10 trillion. From my understanding, this is around the market cap of gold. Maybe gold's a little bit higher, but Bitcoin hasn't even hit this number yet. Now I'm thinking very short term. I'm thinking this cycle, 2025, 2026. I don't think that we're going to see that happen. But to think that we're not going to see the crypto ecosystem over the next 20 and 30, 40, 50 years continue to grow at much more accelerated paces, especially with the banking industry, they're only making their money. I mean, the banking industry makes most of their money on debt, on just interest and late fees and all of that. I mean, we're talking to the tunes of billions and billions of dollars every single month. And so that's not sustainable. And that's not what we're seeing popping up in developing areas around the world. In developing areas around the world, it's all about transacting. It's not about debt. I mean, outside the US, the like credit cards are very, very different. It's more about transacting. US is very, very debt based as a society. So I'm thinking about this in more of the shorter term. But I believe in the longer term, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, we will see a $100 XRP. What all matters is kind of how fast the transition from fiat currency to digital currency takes place. I think it's going to take a lot longer than most people who watch my videos probably anticipate, right? Even myself. But I do think that we can hit a $100 price in the future, because the dollar is going to continue to be devalued. We know that. We know they're going to continue to print money. We know that we're going to continue to go in debt. Maybe we'll go in less, but the dollar is always inflating. I mean, the Federal Reserve says it themselves. They want 2% inflation, because 2% you don't necessarily feel as much, right? But we just had 3 years of 10% inflation. And so even if we get back to 2% inflation, we've had a massive devaluation. And I think that we're to get to back to 2%, we're going to have more inflation because we've had 4 years of, companies not being able to, or I should say struggling, and everyday people struggling and going more into debt. Debt is at all-time record highs in the United States. So there is no doubt that mechanism will continue, at least in the shorter term. And you have to determine whether you're holding period, whether you're very long term or short term or medium term. I mean, we talked about previously on this channel. There was a guy who bought a painting at a yard sale and had it in his house for 50 years. And when he was going to move, he went to go sell it, and an auction company got him like $50 million, something like that, for the painting. And he said, "I'm glad I didn't know how much it was worth, because that's like somebody coming on your front lawn every day with a sign saying $50, and then you don't accept it, and tomorrow they come $100. You don't accept it the next day, $200. And they just keep going up in price. I mean, would you make it to the $50 million price? Like if somebody came to you and said, "I'm going to give you $10 million for that painting," you wouldn't take it at $10 million, right? And so if you buy it here and it goes to $10, you're not going to sell. If it goes to $20, you're not going to sell. $50, you're not going to sell. Um, so I don't know. I mean, if you're anticipating a $100 price, could you hold for that long? I mean, even the people who've held this long, like I said, there's no doubt in my mind, people have been holding since 2016, 2017, when we were under a penny. And now we're at least 2 to 3, 4, 500 times higher than that. But would you be able to hold in that entire time? I wasn't, right? Because SEC sued them. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into other assets. XRP is not worth it. And so, yeah, I mean, plus you don't know who the winners are going to be. Ripple could do really well for a few years, and then boom, another asset or another project decides to go and do cross-border payments, and they do it better than Ripple, right? I mean, that could happen in the future. And then Ripple, the conversation we're having today about it going to $100 is no longer valid. And so this is why you have to kind of constantly assess your portfolio and what you're doing in your assets and figure out what's right for you. It's not right what's right for me or what's right for that one or that YouTuber or that person on Twitter. It's really what's right for you in your portfolio, in your risk management. And I'd love to hear down below, do you think that XRP can hit $100? Again, for me, I think in the long term, it's kind of baked in. But in the short term, I don't think it's going to happen in the foreseeable future. I mean, we could definitely get to $10, but remember, $10 would be 578 billion dollars, right? Almost 600 billion. That's a big number already. And so, think about it from that. But yes, market cap, in my view, does matter significantly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and the discussion we had. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys when I see you crypto on.